Oh, okay, I'm surrounded by cows. Hello, everyone. This is like the fifth time I've tried recording this video because, um, despite me trying to make it off the cuff, there's so many different things that keep going wrong that I just kind of fall over myself repeatedly. So anyway, this video is basically a bit of an explanation as to what's been going on and why I haven't been uploading nearly as much as I usually do. And the answer is... well, that's the thing. There's a lot of answers in regards to that. Tell me, just out of curiosity, what do you understand about the variety of initialisms such as PTSD, ADHD, MDD, and so forth? And more importantly, the concept of comorbidity. Now, we all realize that you can't actually answer this because this is a one-way video, but that's part of what I'm trying to get at. Recently, I've been finding that a lot of what I've been wanting to do has been way more taxing on me than I expected. Now, I'm used to biting off more than I can chew. That's just kind of how I live life at this particular point, but recently it's been getting to me way more than I think it would have. Or just way more than I expected in general. And as a result, I've been kind of self-sabotaging quite a bit when it comes to actually getting into a rhythm of doing things. It also doesn't help that I'm trying to do a wide variety of different things at the same time. Like, the whole reason I was able to upload the series of the Cinders intermission was because it was a huge chunk of video that I was just cutting up into multiple episodes. It was multiple of the same thing, just kind of, you know, going through the motions. It wasn't quite rigid, but it was regular. And that was something I was able to actually manage somewhat well, I think. The problem I'm running into now is that I have a wide variety of different ideas and plans that I just can't quite action yet, not only because they're very different, they have an entirely kind of, well, not really entirely different, but they have a vastly different production process, but in particular they involve a lot more different sort of editing and a lot of different sort of critical understanding from my own perspective about what I'm actually producing. So in particular, the stuff I've promised in the past, Australiana, that is... I'm still trying to tackle that, and I'm still revising it, and I'm still finding different ways that I can sort of fiddle with different things, and I think the main problem that I'm getting with this is imposter syndrome. It is a very, very major topic that I want to talk about. It's no longer just, you know, here's this cute juxtaposition. I'm talking about major stuff here, and things that I genuinely feel strongly about, to the point where not only do I just feel a little bit confused as to whether or not I actually deserve to be talking about it to begin with, but it's more along the lines of, I don't know if me talking about it is something I feel comfortable doing anymore. Because primarily what I'm hoping to do with it, it was very much the juxtaposition of the concept of Australian identity being this sort of old white colonial style thing, coupled with how the rest of the world sees us in that particular way, on top of what's really going on. And some of the stuff I'm really honing in on in order to make the point that I want to do is very, very dark. Something I care about deeply and can easily write about. Whether or not I'm going to... okay, then Minecraft. Whether or not I can write about that and perform that wholeheartedly is really starting to wear on my mind, and I just haven't really been giving myself the confidence that would be required to actually, you know, do so. So I've had that on the back burner for so long, purely because I just don't feel as if me at that moment is going to do it well enough. And that's been sort of what I've been struggling with for the most part. And that's just one thing. Like, there's been a bunch of other stuff I've wanted to do. Like, some of the gaming stuff I wanted to do. Like, For Honor getting good, that particular process. That's the thing I have recorded and that I just need to edit. The problem with that is that it's a good, like, hours worth of footage of me just sucking at the game. Me knowing that I'm sucking at the game, and I can't bring myself to edit that down, because it's going to just hurt watching me, like, complain about stuff, watching me struggle with different things, and just not quite get what I'm meant to. I did a bunch of research after the fact after this initial video of, like, what I'm, like, struggling with and what I'm not doing well with, and it makes sense now that I know. But the whole point of that one first video was me just going ahead and saying, hey, this is where I'm at, and this is what I currently suck with. Oh god, send help. But I realized that it's going to be way more painful for me to actually delve into that than I realized, and so I've been spinning my wheels in regards to that. Other than that, there's a couple of other things that I guess people could describe as easy, for the want of a better term. You know, I could go back to The Room, for example. That was a series I did really early on that was really quite fun, but I haven't really gotten back to that yet because there's never been enough time, and that particular format is very difficult for me to gauge because I don't want to have, like, a huge amount of, like, footage of me bashing my head against the wall of this particular puzzle in some particular way and not quite getting there. And again, that's a mixture of imposter syndrome and imperfectionism just kind of immobilizing me completely. I know it's dumb. I know that there's a wide variety of things I can do in order to make it not dumb, and a wide variety of realizations I should have that helps me realize that it isn't nearly as dumb as I think, but actually actioning that is way more difficult than a lot of people realize, and actually trying to put that into a medium that I know at least 20 people are going to see is enough for me to start bulking at it. Like, I suck with things like public speaking or just stage performance or anything. Like, I'm theater trained, but I just kind of hate that because I can't deal with it. And it's really strange to even say that out loud because I know there's a wide variety of people who just don't have that issue, and here I am trying to do the thing that they would happily be able to do, but I just can't right now. So this video is a cop-out, to a degree. Like, I was actually writing a scripted version of this a while ago, where I was like, you know, I had lists of stuff about what I wanted to talk about the different excuses I was going to bring up. They're not really excuses per se. Like, a lot of people mention this idea of, like, oh, you know, you use excuses to hide behind and that kind of thing. But in reality, like, these are genuine things that are causing me stress. These are things that I struggle with and are forcing me to live differently to most people, because most people don't have to deal with the weird most people don't have to deal with the weird neurodivergent shit that I do. You know, the ADHD on top of having PTSD and MDD and that kind of stuff. It's just... I know this is me being bitter, but I genuinely guess that if I weren't dealing with these funky initialisms all the time, I probably would have gotten a lot of shit done by now, because I'm not expending 90% of my energy fighting myself. Like, this shit is difficult. Like, I'm, you know, people talk about invisible disability, and, like, I am, you know, I do have disability in the form of the atopic dermatitis and the intensity of which I have that, and basically being a chronic illness, but autoimmune disease in particular, but on top of that, I have all the mental side of stuff, and the result being that, like, I'm trying to find within it myself that, you know, me being unemployed, stuck at home during the pandemic, that has thrown a wide variety of other stuff into the air. I'm dealing with a lot right now, and not necessarily me using all that as an excuse as to why I'm not doing much, but rather using it as an explanation as to why it's harder for me to try to do those things compared to any other time. Like, because there's a balance in the discourse between, oh, do you not have enough serotonin, or whatever, that these fucking ableist motherfuckers decide to come up with, or is it more along the lines of, holy shit, you've been literally, like, fighting demons inside your mind for, like, an entire Epica's album worth and more, and just, yeah, the new Epica album is out and it's really, really good. It's this constant push and pull of the imposter syndrome of I'm not trying hard enough, or I'm not qualified to be here, coupled with the realization that this is an incredibly difficult thing to do to begin with. You've come this far already. So, I guess what I'm really trying to do with this video is I'm trying to just explain my thoughts about what's really going on, where I'm at, and just to give you an update about what's happening. I've got a couple of systems in place, like I'm talking to more people about what's going on, like I'm talking to Rob, Mercy, those kind of people about the actual process, and I find this is especially with writing, is that unless I tell someone what the story is, and this is going to sound basic as shit, but unless I tell someone what the story is, it remains in a constant state of flux that doesn't ever actually get solidified. So, so if I do tell someone, it means I now have solid facts. So, like, I've got, I have Campfire Pro, and I need to be using that for a wide variety of my own writing, but I just haven't used it because, well, part of me is genuinely scared that as soon as I actually do write it down, it's going to become solid and not something that I can properly impinge upon than a mere thought in the back of my head. And that same thing goes for Australiana. Like, I'm worried that what I end up talking about won't actually be enough, or it won't actually be what I'm hoping to talk about, and the points to hit on, to the point where I just kind of let it remain in my head where it can be whatever I want it to be, as opposed to actually making it something that deserves to be heard. So, I guess in conclusion, if I really was to have a conclusion about this particular weird-ass video of me flying over treetops with one of the newest Smash characters, goddammit, that's weird to hear, is that I have stuff I'm doing, I've got ideas in mind, and I've got things I want to do, but the problem I've got is that perhaps I'm spreading myself a little bit too thin. I'm not sure what the next actual video will be, because, well, it's a mixture between, I know that once I finally bite the bullet and actually do produce Australiana, it'll be very straightforward and very almost quick for me to upload and get done. But on the other hand, the gaming stuff that I've got doing, like, requires so much more editing and so much more actual time and effort, as opposed to, you know, the sort of the, I guess, courage that the poetry slam and the more kind of political stuff does. So it's that push and pull. If I start to struggle with one, I tend to go to the other, but I end up running into different problems they end up causing in different ways. So I'll try to work out what I can actually do. But in the meantime, if you're actually watching this, I'm glad you've stuck around. I might have a surprise in store whether or not I actually decide to get it done. It's something I've talked about to maybe a few people, but no one really knows what it is yet. And I don't even know if it's something I really want to pursue here on this particular channel at all anymore. I need to actually consider that later on, because the content I'm hoping to do for that is very clean and kind of something I hope could be shown to people under the age of 18, maybe? I don't know. But, and considering the rest of what I talk about is pretty spicy. So anyway, like I said, I've got a wide variety of stuff going on. This video is to give me something that I'm able to put out there and actually say that I've done. And to keep that schedule, because I'm not expecting myself to, you know, actually be beholden to the algorithm just yet, because I'm not making any money out of this. It would be nice if I could. My Ko-Fi link is in the description, because that'll actually, like, one of the biggest, like, boosts of energy that I got for this was the first ever donation I got from there. But, it's money. I love money, you know. Money is so great. It helps me survive the world. But it's that kind of thing. This video is just to keep everyone updated that, yes, I am alive. Yes, I'm actually going to do slam poetry in the future, a bit more refined than some of the other, like, bathtub bullshit I used to do. But yeah, everything's up in the air. I'm screaming in horror about how I'm going to catch all of it. But the thing that I don't really realize, and what beleaguers this particular metaphor, is the fact that it'll only come down once I'm ready to catch it. And it's really up to me how I catch it at that moment, as opposed to worrying about whether I'll be able to catch it at all. So anyway, thank you for listening to whatever that was. I'll catch you in the next video, whatever it ends up being. and if Minecraft stops lagging. Bye. Oh, you can actually die in creative mode. Okay, that's embarrassing.